Hey guys, welcome back. It's that time of the month where we share what has happened in the real estate market. If you're watching the news or listening to friends talk about the real estate market, you might be hearing all sorts of opinions about where prices are headed. But here's the thing, opinions don't pay your mortgage, data does. And the September numbers just dropped for Brampton, and they're telling us something really interesting. While headlines scream about year-over-year declines, the month-over-month data is painting a completely different picture, one that smart investors are already acting on. So the question is, are you paying attention to what actually matters? Before we dive deep into the numbers, let me ask you something. If you were in the market to buy or sell a home today, would you want to know what happened last year at this time, or would you rather know what happened last month? Of course, you'd want the most current data, right? That's exactly why we focus on month-over-month analysis in these reports. The market moves fast, interest rates change, buyer behavior shifts, and waiting a full year to understand trends means you're already behind. Month-over-month data gives you the pulse of what's happening right now, not what happened when interest rates and market conditions were completely different. Now, I know we're about to go through a lot of numbers, and I mean a lot of numbers, but here's why that matters. Numbers don't have opinions. Numbers don't speculate. Numbers tell you exactly what's happening in the market. When you arm yourself with real data, you stop making emotional decisions and start making informed investment decisions. You need this information to be a better real estate investor, whether you're buying your first home or adding to your portfolio. Before we dive into Brampton specifically, let me give you a quick snapshot of what happened across the Greater Toronto area in September so you can see how Brampton compares. The overall GTA median price increased from $899,000 in August to $920,000 in September, a 2.3% gain. Detached homes bounced back with a 1.7% increase to $1,200,000. Semi-detached homes led the pack at 2.3% growth, hitting $946,301. Freehold townhouses held essentially flat at $890,000, and condo apartments rose 1.6% to $575,000. If you want the full breakdown with all the details on days on market and sales volume for the GTA, I covered that in my previous video, and I'll link to it on screen right now so you can check it out. Now let's zoom in specifically on Brampton and see how this city performed in September compared to August, because as you'll see, Brampton told a very different story than the overall GTA. Starting with the high-level view for all property types in Brampton, total homes sold in September were 418, which is a slight decrease from 433 in August. This suggests sales activity remained relatively stable but dipped slightly. However, the market saw a significant influx of new supply, with new listings jumping from 1,416 in August to 1,604 in September. This combination of slightly lower sales and higher new listings caused the active listings inventory to adjust to 2,412 in September, down from 2,490 in August. This indicates that while new sellers are entering the market, the overall inventory pressure eased slightly as some listings were likely absorbed or expired. Now let's look at what happened to home prices in Brampton. For the overall Brampton market, the median sold price saw a positive move. It increased from $860,000 in August to $875,000 in September. This represents a solid month-over-month increase of 1.7%. This is important because it shows that despite increased inventory and slightly lower sales, prices still moved up, indicating underlying demand strength. In terms of how long it takes to sell a home, the days on market for all properties held steady at 32 days. However, it's important to note the property days on market, which tracks how long a property has been for sale even if it was relisted, was a much higher 74 days. This tells us that while newly marketed homes are selling in about a month, there is a segment of the market that is taking significantly longer to find a buyer. This is critical information for sellers. Price it right the first time, or you'll be looking at more than 2 months on the market. Now let's break down what's happening by dwelling type in Brampton because not all property types perform the same way. Before we dive into these numbers, I want to explain our methodology here. We're going to focus on the dwelling types that have the most impact on overall pricing based on their dominance and transaction volume in the Brampton market. When a particular dwelling type only has a small number of units sold in a given month, those numbers can be easily distorted by just one or two sales. That doesn't give you reliable data. It gives you statistical anomalies. So we concentrate on the categories where there's enough sales activity to paint an accurate picture of what's actually happening in the market. This ensures the insights you're getting are based on meaningful data, not outliers. Starting with detached homes, the median price for a detached home was virtually unchanged, dipping marginally from $1 million in August to $999,000 in September. We're talking about a $1,000 difference here, essentially flat. This category saw a substantial number of new listings at 903 in September. What this tells us is that the detached market in Brampton has found its equilibrium. Buyers and sellers are meeting at a price point, and that price point is holding steady right around the $1 million mark. Now let's talk about semi-detached homes, and this is where things get interesting. This category showed notable price softness. The median price decreased from $860,000 in August to $809,250 in September. This is a significant month-over-month decrease of approximately 5.9%. Now, before you panic if you own a semi-detached home, let's look at the other side of this coin. It's also worth pointing out that these homes are selling relatively quickly, with a days on market of only 25, which is below the city average. So what's happening here? The market is correcting. Sellers who price aggressively are seeing results. Sellers who hold firm are sitting. The demand is there, as evidenced by the fast selling time, but buyers have options and they're negotiating. Finally, let's look at freehold townhouses, and this is where the real story is for Brampton. Freehold towns were a bright spot for price growth. The median price rose from $768,500 in August to $800,000 in September. This is a strong month-over-month increase of 4.2%. Let me repeat that. 4.2% in 1 month. If you annualize that, you'd be looking at substantial appreciation. However, this category has an interesting dynamic. While the standard days on market is 32, the property days on market is a high 69. This suggests that correctly priced freehold townhouses are in demand and moving, but there are many that are sitting on the market for over 2 months, likely due to initial overpricing. So in summary, Brampton's market in September showed a mixed picture. While the overall median price increased by 1.7%, the trends varied significantly by property type. Freehold towns saw strong growth at 4.2%, detached homes held flat, and semi-detached homes experienced a pullback of 5.9%. The data also clearly shows the importance of pricing correctly from the start, as homes that linger on the market face much longer selling timelines. The difference between 32 days on market and 74 property days on market is the difference between pricing strategically and pricing hopefully. Here's what I want you to take away from all of this. The narrative that the market is falling isn't telling the whole story. In Brampton specifically, we're seeing the overall median price increase month over month. We're seeing certain segments like freehold townhouses posting impressive gains. We're seeing lower interest rates making mortgages more affordable, and we're seeing that well-priced properties are moving quickly. This is what opportunity looks like in real estate. It doesn't come with fireworks and a sign that says buy now. It comes in the form of data that shows where demand is strong, where pricing needs adjustment, and where strategic buyers can find value. If you're thinking about buying in Brampton, the combination of lower rates and current pricing creates a window that may not last, especially in the freehold townhouse segment where demand is clearly outpacing supply for the right properties. If you're thinking about selling, understanding how quickly homes in your category are moving and at what price points is critical to your strategy. Price it right, and you're looking at 32 days or less. price it wrong, and you're looking at 74 days or more, and every day on the market costs you negotiating power. Before we wrap up, I need to ask you something. Are you getting value from breaking down these numbers together? If you are, do me a favor. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you catch every market update I release. And here's the thing, you probably know someone who's thinking about making a move in Brampton or the surrounding area. Maybe they're unsure about timing. Maybe they're wondering if prices are going up or down. Send them this video. Share this breakdown with them. When more people have access to real data instead of just rumors and opinions, we all make smarter real estate decisions. That's how we build wealth together. So here's my challenge to you. If what you've seen today has you thinking differently about the Brampton market, if you're ready to explore what buying, selling, or investing looks like with someone who actually analyzes the numbers instead of just cheerleading the market, then let's talk. Go to the description, click my Calendly link, and book a time that works for you. We'll dive deep into your specific situation. Want me to analyze a property you're considering? Done. Need a home evaluation on something you already own? I got you. And because I'm a licensed mortgage broker, we can also look at financing options, whether that's securing a new mortgage or restructuring what you currently have to take advantage of these rate cuts. This isn't about me showing you listings. This is about building a real strategy around your financial goals and the current market reality. Look, opportunity doesn't knock with headlines. It shows up in the data. It reveals itself when you understand market cycles. It rewards people who move strategically while others are sitting on the sidelines waiting for perfect conditions that never come. You've got the Brampton numbers now. You know exactly what's happening month over month across every major property type. The real question isn't what's the market doing, it's what are you going to do about it. Stay savvy, stay informed, stay knowledgeable, and until next time, may your investments flourish and your dreams of homeownership become a reality. Catch you in the next one.